is
I'm
this
from down
yours?
here.
About time you saw the light. Miserable Dolphins.
So it's a live House Rules Wednesday,
Sweet, bro.
September
there.
11th,
Yes.
2019.
You're
We should
fine.
probably all do a remembrance of, just don't listen to me,
9/11.
guys. It's cool.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
Joe.
guys, how are
Joe.
you?
What's up, man? You
It's-
dove right in.
Yeah, you said, well, we went
Jeez.
live. Did I have to wait for it?
Oh, no.
I was listening. I was paying attention.
So it's a live House Rules, September 11th, 2019. We all want to remember,
Yeah.
was it
18
18 years ago?
That's crazy. It's
One of-
been 18 years already.
One of
Everybody remembers where they were. I'm
Exactly.
assuming. Scott, do you remember where you were on 9/11?
9th grade history class, and then I took the bus home and probably took a nap.
Okay.
Did they wait? They let school out.
Yeah, early.
Right. They let school
Taking
out.
naps when you were in 9th grade? You were that
Wait, you
tired?
weren't in 9th grade. How old are you?
33.
Oh, I thought you were older than
I was
me.
in 7th grade.
I was hungover. I woke up hungover after a long night, and it was, obviously it was all over the place. I was like, "Is this real?" I
Is
thought
it-
I was watching a movie.
Am I
Yeah.
dreaming?
Yeah.
And I had to go to the restaurant. That was just a crazy.
It was a weird day. I was
Yeah.
driving back from Avery Point. I was going to college there. And I remember turning on the fan, driving back home, and it was like, why is there news on? Then I turned on ESPN radio, news on again. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
And it was everywhere you turn. I was like, wait, fuck, something's going on. And sure as shit enough, as soon as I got home, nobody was home at Mom's house. And I just sat on the couch for 5 hours.
Just watching the TV.
Yep, just watching the TV and just like watching some weird fucking history that you didn't know. It was really strange, man. It's like, is there war going on our turf?
Oh yeah.
No one really understood, I don't think, what was going on.
That's what it felt like. It felt like we were.
I
it's like-
remember anger from a lot of people. Like after it was starting to sink in, the anger, because people were just like,
Because the rhetoric started pretty quick within that day. It was like all of a sudden
Right.
they started throwing names out,
Yeah.
and it was like
Yeah.
Taliban. It's like, and then it was like we're so pissed off, we're so angry, and the patriotism really kicked,
yeah.
which was amazing, by the way. Like everybody was incredibly nice to each other.
That's
I don't know
right.
if you remember that.
I do.
Driving by people and everybody's waving to each other. It was
Yeah.
like so. Out of like that tragedy did come a lot of,
Unity.
unity. Yeah.
It was by far the best postseason, too, because of that 9/11 with the playoffs and stuff with the Yankees. I mean, that's what I remember.
My God, yeah,
Yeah.
It was like,
That
You
might
didn't-
be
they had
the-
those two. They had a couple walk-offs, back-to-back games.
and you're like, there's no way this is America's team. Like,
Yeah, it was nuts, man.
We just said it. George Bush still, to this day, best, first pitch, thrown out ever.
And the Patriots won the Super Bowl that year.
I took them that year. There was no way they were losing. There
I
was
thought the
no
Yankees were going to
way.
win it.
No way they were losing.
yeah, I didn't think the Yankees were going to lose that.
The Yankees losing was shocking because it
Yeah.
was like, Game 7, Mo's in the game. This is it. The Yankees don't lose with Mo's in the game, and they gave it up, and that didn't seem real. So what's going on here?
Shouldn't have called the infield in,
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, that was-
that was it.
Yeah,
That's
but either
definitely-
way, sports aside, you know what I mean. Today's the day to remember, right? Like first responders and everybody that lost their lives that day, and NYPD, fire department. It's everybody takes a little time out today to kind of remember all that. But sports definitely helped to bring everybody kind of back to reality, if you remember, right?
Sports was the thing that was the only thing that felt normal.
It felt
I remember
normal.
when they were like, we have to get back to normalcy.
Yeah.
And sports was like really brought people together because it was just like it felt like you were finally doing something normal again, like watching the Yankees game or just going back to just doing like
Routine.
some sort of routine. Even though it was still odd, it was just like sports helped. It helped a lot during that time. I remember that. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree. Now that, not to make a joke about it, but America, we are now sponsored by White Claw. And the claw is the law. So go into that.
Good
But as I was going to say, we
Perfect
have
segue. You can edit that out,
guest. We have a guest on there, Shannon Walker. We've been trying to get you on for a couple months now.
Yeah.
You're opening up a new gym in the area.
Yeah, I'm calling it a fitness studio. So it's a little bit different. A gym, like when you think of a gym, you think of you go in by yourself and you get on the elliptical or you get on your weight machine. This really is, it's smaller. It is geared towards women. And it's all boot camp classes. So
Okay.
it's not a gym where you go in and you work out on your own. So you're always with a coach or you're training one-on-one with a trainer. So it's a fitness studio. Yep.
And
And-
what's it called?
It's Crowned Fit, so CROWNED Fit, and it's a metaphor, for, women love a theme anyway. So, but it's really a metaphor for really living your best life. And I've sort of created this like one-stop shop for women to kind of level up. It's sort of like what I found that I needed throughout whatever I'm going through in my life to get over that hurdle or to just become stronger, more independent, and I kind of put that into a studio, and and hopefully, women won't have to. It won't take as long for them to get to where I'm at now. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
And how did you get started? You were a trainer at another gym, correct?
I've been a trainer since 2008, and at the time I was living in South Carolina. So I moved to New York. I had an internship there, and I've worked at many different gyms, different types of fitness facilities since then. But yeah, so I was working as a trainer, and I'm actually currently running my own private training business where I travel to all my clients, and that will stop as the studio opens. But this has been the end all. This has been the goal for me. It's to open this studio, but it takes a long time. It's a big endeavor, and it's one step at a time. So yeah, it's my dream, my goal. This is where I'm at in my life.
That's awesome. I like the logo on the outside, Crown Fit, and it kind
Yeah.
of says like "Own It," right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the name. It just kind of exemplifies everything that the studio is really about. And there's a play on royalty, and that too is a metaphor. Like our shirts that we have are going to say #Queen. I mean, do I really think I'm a queen? No, but it's just a metaphor for sort of taking control, living your best life. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what do you think, what will separate your gym from, I forget about like the regular Globo gyms, but like any other gym that like another woman would maybe go
Right,
to
any
for
of
like
our
personal training?
competitors.
Yeah.
Great question. So the studio really has a big focus on personal development. So I've partnered with a psychotherapist. So she comes in twice a month in the beginning. Like, if there's a need for it, we'll have her come in more often. But along with the memberships is our personal development seminars that are included. And also nutritional seminars. So, and there's a lot of community events. So for me, it's a trifecta of things. It's not just like the physical fitness. It's your mental, emotional health. And then, having good people around you, because the people that you hang out with that has an effect on the way that you live your life. So it's really the trifecta, those three things. And I haven't found a gym or a fitness studio that, does that. It's really just about the physical. So that to me is what separates us.
I like that a lot. Actually, today, it's funny you say that because today I started working with, I'm a yoga instructor and a breathwork coach.
Okay.
And I've been working with the Avery Point basketball team. I worked with them last year.
Yeah.
And I'm working with, today was my first day working with them this year. And a lot of new kids in there. They're growing. These kids they're bought into it, man. It's amazing. Like they love it. They can't wait every week to work with them.
That's great.
But what I brought up to them today, is because I really focus on, it's not just the physical. When I go around the room and I ask them what do they think about yoga, and like a lot of them like, well, get more flexible, whatever. And I'm like, all right, that's good. Like we'll start with that. But what I want to focus on is like to me it doesn't make sense to work out the body without the mind, and without all of it. It all works together.
It does.
So if you lack in one area and you lack in the mind, like especially as athletes,
you're never going to
be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, you're never going to be as great as you could be. Not that you won't excel, but if you have, if you truly believe in yourself and you're grounded, and you can do so much more physically.
Absolutely.
So that's my belief. And I like I said, I have not found a gym. I wanted to, obviously it's business. Like this is my passion, so it's great. I get to do this. But in business, you also want to find a market that isn't being,
Sure. Yeah, that's gonna excel.
has been hit. Yeah. Yeah. So, so for me, that's what it was, because I've spent the past, just a little bit of history about me is I was really overweight as a child. I had no self-esteem. And then, as that kind of like morphed into an overweight young woman with no confidence. And so for the past like 34 years, I've been struggling with finding my self-worth, and my weight always fluctuated. And it wasn't until 3-4 years ago where I really started to kind of get that mind body, together. And so working on my self-esteem, working on, the inner parts of me.
100%.
And then, and that's when things really started to click for me. And so, and I see that with the clients that I work with, especially the women. And I know men need the same thing. So I said this earlier before we started, I am not a feminist, I'm an equal opportunist, but I relate well and connect well with women. So, that's
great.
why I kind of, I'm speaking about women. But yeah, so, it wasn't until I really got, I started to really believe in myself. It took a lot of work. I mean, I did therapy, I've done meditation. And so it took a lot of work over years to get to where I'm at now, just to build self-confidence from being that, insecure, overweight girl to where I'm at now. But I still work on it daily. It's not like just something that is like I have it and I have it. It's daily. So, but my life has totally changed since I really started putting those, 3 pieces of the puzzle together. And I don't think I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have found an investor for my business. I wouldn't have been put in these positions if I hadn't started working on my inner self.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, I follow you on Instagram. So you're saying you got the gym, you're doing memberships. Are you going to do like nutrition? And I see that you meal prep. Is that something included in the gym or?
Yeah. So,
or no?
actually there's a small, of course, there's a small, nutritional part that's included in all memberships. But then if you want more, then you would hire the nutritionist, beyond so we'll have seminars, like nutritional seminars that teach you how to meal prep, and they'll be very basic, but if you need more, then she's there to help you, dive a little deeper into that. So
one of my questions is I feel like for anybody to start working out, doing yoga, meditation, anything, it's to get into that routine. What got you into that routine to start working out, to start getting yourself better and more in shape?
That's a great question. I think a routine to me, it takes a long time and consistency. So it takes a long time of doing it consistently, even when you don't want to do it. I think a lot of times I think it took hardship to get me to that point, to be honest with you, where I was like, okay, why did I put myself in that position? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? And it was like, so I just think it was hardship that kind of got me. Like I was sick and tired of being insecure, putting myself in bad situations.
See, I wake up in the morning, I had ice cream tonight. So if I wake up in the morning and I don't want to get out of bed, I'll think to myself that, well, if you don't get out of bed, you can't have ice cream.
Oh, so that's a driver.
So it drives me. It drives me all the time. So then when I get to the gym, or I'll think of,
But you're consistent with it.
Yeah,
you're
but
consistent with your
like if the Patriots lost on Sunday, I would have been there earlier, just because I wouldn't have been able to sleep and stuff, and it would piss me off, and then I would go there, and it would somewhat,
Right.
it would de-stress me.
They're a little bit different.
They're a little different than mine.
But the bottom line is, he gets to work.
I do.
He really does. I was thinking about that before I got here. I was like, we had talked about it before. You get up early every morning, and you work out. It's consistency. It really is. It's being consistent, over time. It doesn't happen like that. It's really, it's a lifestyle. So you have to find something you like doing.
Yeah.
But it's true, men and women. So my fitness center studio is geared towards women, but like I said, men need the same thing.
I would go there for the nutrition. I need to lose weight in that aspect.
Nutrition is huge.
I
learned
meal
that.
prep, eat better.
Yeah,
Stop drinking.
Yeah, nutrition is a huge piece of the puzzle. So you guys probably saw last April, I entered a fitness competition, which one thing I've been doing is putting myself out of my comfort zone. So anything that if it makes me nervous or it scares me a little bit, I'm like, I have to do that.
I like it.
So that's where a lot of growth has happened. So I don't get into a bikini. Like I absolutely, well, I was
you
on
did-
stage.
yeah,
I was on stage in a
Mohegan.
bikini. But prior to that, I did wear a bikini at the beach, but I was very self-conscious. Like I hated it. I would sit down and I would, and so, just not comfortable in my own skin. So, I thought about doing a fitness competition, but I always said to myself, like, you're not like those girls. That's such a terrible mindset. And so I'm like, that's exactly what I need to do. Like I have to put myself in that. I have to get myself out of my comfort zone. And I had the best summer of my life because I would put a bikini on and I got over that fear. Yeah. And it's not because, I'm heavier now than what I was when I did the show. Like I looked like that for one day, but it just sort of got me out of my comfort zone. So I've been doing a lot of that. Like facing my fears.
I like that a lot. Recognizing that is like one of the first steps. So a lot of people, the way the mind works is it'll keep you in your comfort zone.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
So understanding like that's how your mind works, is kind of like the first step.
Right.
So knowing that, like you said, like growth only comes from, discomfort, unfortunately. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So understanding like your mind is always going to tell you and bring you back. Like, as soon as you face some type of fear, it comes up in your head. It's like, all right, I know I need to face that. Your mind is going to keep coming back to, no, yeah, you know what? We don't really need to delve too deep into this fear that you have.
Exactly.
And understanding like your mind's always going to do that. And so just like stay on the path and like keep.
Totally.
Yeah.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Getting comfortable being uncomfortable.
You always say that step
Yeah.
outside of the box.
Step
and-
outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. I think I grew up in a very small town. You guys grew up in Ledyard, you Fenton brothers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Small town.
Small
Yeah.
town.
But no, it's
Small,
Ledyard.
small town.
Okay, wait.
Small town.
Yeah.
My town was much smaller, and I think of it as like it was like 800 people in the town.
wow.
I grew up in the mountains of Maine, but it's just a very small town mentality where you grow up and you're taught, and I'm not saying this came from my parents, but just everybody around me. It was like, women.
environment.
Your environment, yeah. It's like you find you should become a teacher,
Right.
which is great. I'm not saying that's not, but they all these safe jobs, right?
right.
It's like there's no big dreamers, and I remember being something inside of me. I do have I've always felt a little bit of a fire inside of me, even that young insecure little girl. Like I was always a dreamer. I knew that I wanted more, but if I were to talk about it, was just unheard of to have these big goals. And even still, I just started really talking about where I see this business going, because it's scary to tell people that, because it's a big goal, and I don't want
Yeah.
people to think or I don't want people to.
That's the only
Don't-
way that you get there, though.
No,
Yeah.
but you're right. That makes sense. Like growing up, like you're saying, in
Yeah, it's
Ledyard,
a small-
everybody in Ledyard, because it was a small town, they didn't want to get out of their comfort zone. So going to school, I
It's
remember
really kind of
they were
embedded in
pushing
us.
for you to stay in the, become a teacher, go to
Go
college. Don't
Yeah, it's
don't-
these jobs
go
that.
over
oh,
the bridge.
don't do anything.
Go to VOAG.
Yeah.
Become a farmer.
But I've lived in Connecticut my whole life, but I haven't traveled around that far. And today I had to go pick up a buddy it was in Weston, Connecticut,
Okay.
off the
Freak out.
Merritt Parkway.
Yeah.
It was out in the middle of nowhere.
That's where
there
I
was
grew up,
there was like
basically.
nowhere anything close, and I was having a panic attack because I had no gas in my truck, and I'm like, well, where's the closest thing to get to? So like
They're probably all closed.
compared to
at this-
Ledyard, I thought that
Yeah.
that was more of a small town. I thought.
So what was the motivating factor? How did you fly the coop? Like how did you get out? How did you bust out of that?
It was so many little things. Like I went to University of Southern Maine my first year, and that's actually, we were talking about 9/11. Like I remember my freshman year that I was in my dorm room at University of Southern Maine, and I have an identical twin sister, and that's where she went. And I staying close to home was like, I don't know, it was safe. And then I wasn't happy there. I wasn't excelling. I wasn't even going to my classes like I should be. And I'm like, just something inside of me was like, you need to move, go somewhere. I had a cousin that lived in New York, and I moved to New York. And so things sort of just, there was always like little things that kind of pushed me forward. So I don't know. It different. Something inside of me told me that I wanted more. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm now shooting for my big goal.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop until it's a success like I know it can be. So
That's great.
You're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Thank
You can
you.
tell. You're gonna get there.
Thank you.
You got the drive.
Don't
you
make
can
me
tell.
cry.
Oh.
Oh man.
So I got a
No,
question.
I won't cry.
Just keep doing what you're doing. You're
Thank
gonna get
you.
there.
Thank you.
You know.
The boot camp. So it seems like most women love the boot camps.
Yeah.
Right. They like getting put through hell
Yeah.
and coming back and stuff. While men
Yeah.
they like
doing
to
it together too. Like,
yeah,
they
doing
do.
Like a little community and like.
I've never done a boot camp in my life. So what
It's
made
such a
you?
broad term, but yeah.
Yeah, but what made you decide that was your best way of training?
Boot camp, I consider it HIIT training, so it's high intensity interval training, and it really just for me, it's just a bigger calorie burn, and it's bringing your heart rate up and down, instead of staying at a steady heart rate. So after you're done, like say you're on the treadmill and you're doing your steady. When you stop, your heart rate just like it doesn't stop because you're still living, but
Yeah.
you don't get that calorie, you don't get an afterburn. Okay, so your burn just stops right there. Whereas if you're doing HIIT training, your heart rate burns double the amount of calories of steady state cardio training for up to 48 hours after you stop your HIIT training. And in my studio, you'll get cardio and strength every single day. So it's really going to be full body. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's just the most effective way that I know to be true. So and I love loud music, and I love. I think Joe saw the video where the room is like dim lit and like a purple lighting.
Oh, yeah, it's-
And
yeah.
so it's like a club vibe. It's like where your inhibitions you can just let go of your inhibitions and sweat, and it's loud and work at your own level because everything's timed. So that's a great thing too, is that it's all timed intervals. So if Sally next to you is doing 1,000 squats because she's superwoman and you've only done 5, well, awesome, because you're doing what you can and it's all timed.
Oh,
you're not
okay.
doing
I was
together.
gonna say we did a hot yoga thing.
Yeah.
So maybe in the winter when you guys are settled, we do a boot camp.
Good call.
I like
Go.
it.
I like
House rules
it.
boot camp.
We're in there.
I think we
I'll
do-
even play whatever kind of music you guys want.
I
I
like-
already have an idea.
I like
what kind of
death metal.
music
I need
you're in.
heavy music.
It's
you
gonna-
need like heavy metal.
I need
Yeah.
somebody yelling at
death
me.
metal.
Death metal.
I'll give you
Yeah.
a
Something
playlist. I'll give you a
probably never
playlist
Oh,
that
God.
your entire life.
Get the cameras ready
That's
for
fine.
this one's gonna
Yeah,
be good.
this one
I
would
think
be
that would
good.
have been great right there.
I might be off disability by then.
You might go back on disability by then.
You might be back on disability
Yeah,
real
that's
quick.
true.
Yeah. Heart attack. Right
Guys,
there.
I'm out. I'm back in. Damn it.
So I wanted to ask you. I know your kids are Patriots fans, and
Yeah.
this weekend Antonio Brown signed with the team,
Yes.
and a trainer came out yesterday that he trained with in 2017, 2018, and came out with accusations that there was a rape charge. It's actually only civil charges. There's no criminal charges. Like, she didn't go to the police.
And the trainer, you said she's a female.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, you being in the training world, I didn't know what your thoughts were on the allegations or.
Yeah. There's two sides to every story, but my concern is why 2 years later.
Yeah.
If it really affected you, which, I mean, if that legitimately happened, obviously that's really going to affect someone,
Right.
emotionally. But, why wait for 2 years?
Why
for
not tell the
me-
police?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, not tell
exactly.
the police. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, if say I'm a trainer, if anything like that were to happen to me, I don't care who you are, I would immediately,
Right.
I mean, it's like I said, two sides to every story, but if you wanted my initial reaction, it's like, why
Yeah.
wait? Why wait?
I just
Why
figured
wait-
I'd
why
ask
wait
you,
until
being
now?
a trainer, and
Yeah.
I
no,
didn't know
it's
if
a great
any,
question.
working with other people, if it's ever you deal with that kind of thing, or if it's
know-
ever happened to someone. I'm
yeah,
not saying that.
that I've touched
Are
anyone
you asking if
inappropriately.
Shannon is the accuser?
No,
what you're
no. I
leading
was
towards
just saying
this?
no.
I just figure you're a trainer. He's a football player.
He's a football player.
It's a good question. I thought.
They didn't
That's
have her
great.
name out there. Was it you?
No, I did not say that.
That's all. I was.
Wasn't
I
me.
didn't see any
No.
other connection there.
I like it.
I didn't want to word it incorrectly.
Way to
yourself.
toe around that, bro.
Oh man. Oh. You sure you don't want to plug
I'm
White Claw right now?
What is it? White Claw what?
The claw is the law.
Claws.
Claws.
There's no laws. There's no laws when you're drinking the claw.
All right.
Good
I
one.
like that.
White Claws are.
Not a good.
They're not
a good-
Trulies.
Not something to promote
same.
during 9/11. Is that what you're saying?
What? Your timing is just
Yeah,
horrible.
it was bad.
I mean,
There was no couth there. It was just
so
like.
on 9/11.
America, well, 9/11.
NYPD.
Well, what
There's
are
no
you-
laws when you're drinking White Claws.
What are your thoughts on the whole, Antonio Brown?
I might be
trainer?
biased because I'm a Patriot fan, but I think that just the
Well,
way
don't
it
be
came.
biased.
I just think the way it came out, it just doesn't seem. It seems fishy.
What if
Yes.
he was still on the Steelers?
I mean, even
He
even
wouldn't
that-
care as much.
I wouldn't care as much. You're right.
you gotta
but
look-
at the,
He
the
would.
same
He
time,
would
I
want
think-
him suspended immediately
No.
if he was on the Steelers. Immediately,
Scott, that's a long pause.
because he would.
Whoa.
You got to admit it.
No, I don't think that way because when Big Ben, all right, got accused, well, twice. When that happened to him, the first thing that I thought was, all right, he's in a bar. He had girls hitting on him. He shushed them away and stuff, and blah, blah happened. And then when all the stuff came out, I was like, oh, yeah, fucking suspend him. Tyreek Hill, same thing this year. Beating the child. They had, the voicemails and him
Right.
talking to his wife, I'm going
Right.
to hit you, or his girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you. My first thing was suspend him. NFL's lying through their teeth right now that they didn't know about this. That's my honest opinion. The Patriots are lying through their teeth that they signed him and didn't know this. You're talking about $1 billion industry, and they don't know dirt on people.
Yeah.
They all know
agree with
what
that.
happened. They shushed it away, hoped it wasn't going to come out, and then when somebody leaks it, then they have to deal with it. They've been 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago after the Ray Rice thing, Antonio Brown would have been kicked out of football probably. Tyreek Hill would have been kicked out of football. Now they're allowing these players the grace period now because they've made grace with everybody.
saying
Not
that-
thinking,
Well, I think when initially all these accusations happened, with either abusing women or sexually assaulting women, like initially the blowback from women's rights communities, it was so strong, and I think a lot, and also like there was video footage of Ray Rice
That's-
yeah,
dragging a woman.
That
like,
one hurt.
That one, like, there's no
You
way
hear
out.
about it. Like, what do you do?
But
Then
they
you
knew
see
about
him
that video.
Well,
punch
there
her.
was video footage
like-
of Kareem Hunt and Tyreek
Right.
Hill. Wasn't there? Was there video footage or
it
just
was
audio?
Audio.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, you're telling me that they don't have spies everywhere knowing all this stuff already?
Well, I think when it first, like when all those first incidents happened, like I don't know how much of a voice the accusers, being the football players, the athletes, had. Now, I think with so many incidences now, not only in sports but in
Yeah.
Hollywood and
Yep.
whatever, and you're starting to see it's like, okay, there might be situations here where there's women that are trying to take advantage of a situation. So hold on, let's take a step back.
Make sure.
Let's hear both sides
Right.
before we completely vilify.
That's,
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
And now when you're starting to see, like, there's these conversations that are coming, the text conversations that are coming out between AB and some other girl who supposedly knows this girl. It's like,
Yeah.
she's saying, I know her, and she has clearly said to me, she's setting you up and she's trying to get money out
They
of you.
said there's photos from like 3 months ago of the two of them, and they seemed pretty intimate together, and it didn't look like anything happened. But that's just
There's
but
a
like
lot of holes in her story is the
like
problem.
Scott said that earlier, that someone came out and made a story that apparently she's getting married this weekend. So
She
what
is.
they're
Saturday.
thinking that
Saturday?
they're
Saturday.
thinking
It's
that,
going to be the weirdest wedding ever.
they're thinking
That
that the
is weird.
husband
Why would you come out with
found out that she was with Antonio Brown. Instead of her making it, she decided to come out and
Can you
accuse him to
imagine?
get money,
Yeah.
so that way it
But
didn't
why
look
would
like
they
she was
suspend
cheating on him.
Yeah, but why would they suspend him if there's no proof?
They haven't yet.
They
He-
have.
he's not suspended yet.
He's not.
Right.
Right now, it's just kind of just hanging
It's-
there in limbo.
Yeah, it's more of that thing, like it's that gray line where they don't know.
It's
what's
the
gonna
whole
happen.
point that
So-
he signed with the Patriots. There was dirt on it. He was
Right.
having issues in Oakland.
Yeah,
and
yes.
now he signs with them a day later. This
And now this
gossip
happens.
comes out,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
like,
it all seems a little
when was
fishy,
it going
I
to
get it.
end with
The
him?
timing.
It's
Yeah.
just
The
Right.
I don't know.
So I mean, I guess you would have to say, like, right now, AB is probably not even based on his performance, just based on the amount of attention that he's drawn on himself with all the shit he was doing in Oakland and now being signed by the Patriots.
He's been trending for a month.
He's up here. So I guess you would have to say, I mean, I don't know, is that the best time to like is that striking while the iron's hot? Like hit him now while his
I mean, everybody's looking.
everybody's looking.
That's what it seems like, man. Because you know it's going to get a ton of attention right now.
Knock if you would.
Because he's already.
I know.
I'm gonna write it down. Right. I mean, listen, if it's true, then you know.
I agree with what you said before, though. I think that's good the way they actually are pursuing it, where it is innocent until proven guilty.
It has to be
Where
innocent until proven guilty.
You know,
You gotta
yes,
have a voice in it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
because
when
anybody
it
can
comes
come out
into
in a
money. You
yeah.
don't know what which side it is. As bad as that
Also,
sounds.
like you said, in in a criminal suit, like you have to have really, really strong evidence for a criminal suit to stick. Like, all right, you know what I mean? If you want these lawyers and you want the state to go after, this guy for what he did, well, you better have some really good shit. For a civil suit, you can fucking sue anybody for
Sue
whatever.
Harry.
Yeah, you
You
can.
could sue Harry.
So
Walking in here.
you need it's like you don't need to have as much evidence, which makes
It
it.
just makes it look more like a money grab now.
yeah.
Because it's a civil suit.
And more than anything, it might
Because
be
there was no
he's
accusations
probably
in
going to want
Miami.
her to shut the hell up, pay
Right.
Right.
X amount just to shut up right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So for
That's
her,
why
it's a
it came out.
win-win, I think.
Yeah, that's why it
That's
came
how
out.
she sees it.
Her wedding's
she's
going to
getting married.
suck, though. Her wedding's going to be
She's-
really
Should've
weird.
thought about
She
that.
wants to get all that money back from paying for the wedding by getting this.
Where is it
That's
going to
what
be? The VFW?
I don't know.
No offense if you're at a wedding at VFW.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody did.
Some
One of our
listeners,
listeners?
100%.
Whoever's marrying this female needs to run. This is just
Good
the beginning.
God.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
how it starts for you. Just think about that.
Yeah, I want
It's
to
the
know.
weekend of your wedding, and this came out.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you don't run
tarnishes
now,
the whole
if,
thing.
if you don't run,
I want to. Yeah, I kind of want to.
I kind of want to know who the guy is now. It's like, dude, I mean, just go, man. Just run fast, far.
Get the hell out.
Get
Well,
the
he's
hell
not
out.
running at this point, I'm sure.
Maybe
I
he's
don't know.
sticking. Maybe he's part of the plan,
That's what I'm
Maybe.
saying.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're not going to make it far.
No.
Karma will get them.
He'll be
Yes.
on reality TV in a
Karma
couple
I
of years.
did
Karmacology.
listen to bits and pieces.
Karma
I like
speaking.
karmacology.
Yes.
I
Karmacology.
totally believe in that. If you
Oh,
shit
yeah.
in someone's yard,
Yes.
don't expect to not be shit on.
That's right.
That's what I live by.
Oh, yeah.
Find out who these people are. Let's get some names and let's see what happens to them in the next month or so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The-
Let's
this-
find out.
Joe, do some extensive research,
The
man.
wedding,
Yeah, we want some.
the VFW is going to catch on fire.
It's not going to be good, man.
Not
No.
going to be good. Well,
Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you the
Shannon.
best of luck.
good
Thank
interview.
you.
And then hopefully in I don't know, December.
We're
maybe
coming.
Yeah.
We're
we could
doing that.
Come
You guys
on.
are
and-
coming out.
I can't
We're
wait.
doing it.
Yes.
We're in there.
Are we gonna
Johnny
do-
doesn't have to.
Are we
do
gonna
it.
do this
I
like
do have
like a
to.
podcast?
I could do a live
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
podcast.
no, we'll do it live.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
No, that's the whole point.
That's
I'll
We have
sit
to
there
record
and-
it.
Because actually, that just one last thing. That's something that I wanted to stress is that it really it's geared towards women, but the workouts are not because we can do.
Kick our ass.
Nah, we got to get in there and
we can
struggle
do whatever
and
you
fall.
guys can do.
Let's
yes.
do it. Let's
We
do
need
it.
some type of mic this time so you could, like.
I had a mic that I had handheld mics that you guys could
No,
talk
something
to.
like you have a mic that
I have
you
a mic
run
on.
and do that.
Back, yeah.
That's what
Oh,
we
we need
need.
wireless
We-
mics.
All of you need one? Oh
No,
my
no,
God.
no.
Well, I mean,
was gonna say, no one's
the
gonna
hot
hear it.
yoga
No one's
was
gonna be-
bad because
You're
of
clearly pulling on
sweating.
me for sure.
We
Just
sh-
for entertainment value.
We should
We're
have
gonna it's like a dragon.
Yeah, you got to do that. It's gonna
heart
be
rate
bad.
monitors more
Yeah.
than anything.
Oh
let's
my
make
God.
sure we keep an eye on that because we might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll need
Getting
to wear
into
your
some
heart
red
rate
zones.
monitors.
Yeah,
All right, we'll
So
do
is that
it.
something before you open up that I can meet with you and like we can do you do the meal prepping and nutrition, or is that something I gotta?
Absolutely. No,
Okay.
I can hook you up.
Don't
I
let
know
Scott
the
look
owner.
at. We're brothers, but we're complete opposite. He goes to the gym every day and looks at me in disgust.
Yeah, but he also eats ice cream.
I can see it right now. He's like,
Oh.
"You fat piece of shit."
I can help you, Joe. I
Okay.
can help you.
Thank
Stop
you.
looking at me like
Yeah,
that.
stop giving me that look.
His stomach.
See? Yeah, go eat your ice cream.
But look at his face.
I know he doesn't gain weight in the face.
No,
That's
I
the
mean he has a
amazing
good,
thing.
great looking face.
Oh, I
Ah.
know.
That's all he
It's true.
needs.
That's
That's
all
all
he
now I'm
needs.
done. I
He's
don't
gonna
need
pack
that.
on the pounds now. I
I don't care anymore.
The rest of it
All right.
doesn't mean shit.
Wait,
House rule. See you guys later.
Oh man. Well,
right,
thank you
thank you,
very
guys.
much.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks so
Shannon.
much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. I was sometimes I over talk and I get
not at
okay.
all.
I didn't know you were doing all that like mental.
Yeah. So that was like a big piece of the puzzle for me. Like